Hello again, ladies, and welcome to day 4 video. Today we're going to talk about pain, pelvic floor, prolapse, and aging. Sounds fun, right? So one of the very common reasons I get from women who don't experience orgasm or don't experience or enjoy sex is that they have pain during sex. That could be for a couple reasons, several different reasons, as a matter of fact. Endometriosis is a very common reason. I am not a doctor, so I cannot diagnose anything like that. But I can tell you that if you feel like it's a common thing that you get pain during intercourse, that you maybe should talk to a doctor or gynecologist about that if you haven't already. No need to be embarrassed. It's better to just make sure. Now, I do want to say that it is possible that, especially if you have pain more after intercourse, that could be simply that you need to use lubricant. And some of you may be like, no, honey, a river flows through me. I'm wet all the time. I don't need lubricant. I will tell you, though, that during intercourse, a lot of times women get little microscopic tears in the epithelial lining of the vagina. Listen to me and all these big words. But that's why pain after intercourse, happens is you've just got these microscopic tears. Perhaps even if you do produce a lot of lubrication naturally, maybe it's just not as thick as you need it to be. And in which case, our lubrications are sexy. They feel very natural. They never get sticky. They never get icky. They never leave you feeling like, I don't know, like you need a shower because there's overload of lubrication, okay? Just a little fact, 100% of people that have used lube for sex and play said it was more pleasurable with lubrication. Like I said, it even if you don't need it, it can cause more pleasure. And it does sometimes encourage more foreplay, especially if it's flavored or if you're doing some hand play. Slippery is fun, right? Okay, just looking over my notes. A couple things. First of all, speaking of vaginal pain, endometriosis is one, dryness is one, microscopic tears is one, but also there are some women, believe it or not, I know it doesn't happen often, and a lot of times I get more shock and surprise than women going, oh yes, I've heard of this. But there are some women that are born with vaginas that are itty bitty, teeny tiny, and can't even handle a pinky being inserted because of how tiny it is. So we do have, I don't have them on hand to show you, but we do have vaginal dilators. So if you've ever spoken to a gynecologist about that, they would recommend vaginal dilators. We have the best on the market. Now, of course, with that, I do recommend our toy cleanser to clean them regularly. And just a side note, vaginal dilators can be used as anal dilators. We'll get into that in another video if you're looking to, experience more play there. Again, we'll talk about that more later, but you can never use it vaginally and anally at all. You should have a totally different set if you're going to try that. Okay. Now, yesterday we talked about some of the things that I feel could help in this area too, as far as like pain, especially with periods and cramping. So we talked about Be Kind Unwind, the essential oil. We talked about Heartthrob. We talked about the CBD soak and the CBD muscle rub. Couple things we're going to talk about tonight that kind of goes in this category though. We're going to talk about some vaginal strengtheners, pelvic floor strengtheners. Why is that important? Well, number one, it keeps your vagina nice and tight and toned so it feels more pleasurable for your partner, but also for you. Also, when you have the pelvic floor muscles tightened and toned, you have more intense orgasms. It's easier to control pleasure, say for your partner, where you can tighten and release every now and then. all kinds of great reasons to have those muscles tighten and tone. But most importantly, probably, is the fact that as we age, we lose elasticity down there too. So coughing, sneezing, jumping on a trampoline, maybe even laughing really hard, you might experience a mishap. You know what I mean? A mishap where you leak some pee. Yes, that could happen. And that happens because our pelvic floors are not tightened and toned. So again, in this category, a few more things I want to talk about. We have a couple different vaginal strengtheners. The newest one and my favorite is called the Total V. It comes with 3 different weighted exercisers for the vagina. So the idea, this is the lightest one. You start with this one. You insert it. What I like about this versus the old-fashioned Benoit balls that were metal and super tiny and literally you had to sit and squeeze and pray they just didn't fall out. These give you something to it helps you grip. It's silicone. It doesn't want to just slip right out. So you're not working so hard just to keep it in. You can actually do an exercise program that you get the instructions for when you get this or the next product that I talk about. So you insert one. The silicone helps it sort of stay in place, but also the size of it helps you're able to feel it and grip it when you're doing your Kegel exercises. So it gives you something to grip onto. Once you get really good at this size and this weight, then your next step is resistance. So you're going to kind of play tug of war. While it's in, you're going to do a Kegel, you're going to hold, and then you're going to see if you can resist pulling it out. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 is move up to the next size, which has 2, and it's heavier. So again, while you're up and moving around, this is going to be more difficult to keep in place, or say if you're doing this in the shower, whatever. But same concept, you insert both. You try to keep both in. Being that you've got more weight on top, it's going to be a little more difficult, but also it still gives you that something to grip onto. And next step then would be the resistance. Third step is up to this one. By this time, your vagina is an expert, trust me. An expert. All right, so 3 steps to that. You get an exercise program with it. The other ones we have in the catalog currently are called Exercise Her. I'm thinking, although this is a fantastic set, I think the Total V is probably going to outlast these in the catalog. So there's a slight chance that the Total V is, or the Exercise Her is not available. If this video, if you're watching this, soon, not too soon from now. Words, difficult. That one fell out, so I'm going to show you without the wrapper. So same concept though. Hot mess express. Same concept. The other ball just flew across the room, but this is one weight. It's the starter weight, so that would be same thing. Insert one, grip, hold. Once you get used to that, then you add the resistance. This one, slightly different, where the holder of the weight just slips off, and then you can put the heavier weight next. And so this one only has 2 steps, but this also does come with a exercise program instructions to go with it. So Exercise Her or Total V, yes, they're both fantastic. I'm just gonna get that. It's gotta be perfect or I can't stand it. OCD. Okay, that is Exercise Her. Now, I mentioned cleanser. Very important for any of these tools, whether it be the vaginal dilator or the Total V or the Exercise Her. You want to clean those and anything that goes in or out of the vagina with our toy cleanser. This is safe for your toys and safe for your vagina. And those who take good care of their toys will take good care of them. Okay, spray it on, rinse it off, air dry or towel dry, you're good. Now, if you're like, I don't want to go through all that trouble, like I'm still young and I'm still fairly tight, but every once in a while I just want to be a little extra and add some tightness. That's when you want like a virgin. Now, keep in mind, adding tightness, when you make her tighter, that's not just giving pleasure to your partner. When she's tighter, your partner feels larger. You're welcome. All you need is 1 to 2 drops. You find a way to get it inside the vagina. Could be fingertips, could be a penis. I recommend fingertips because you do want to give it about 10 to 15 minutes to go to work and start shrinking. But fairly quickly, it's going to shrink up inside. You will notice the difference. I actually had one hostess tell me that her husband asked if he was in the right hole because he just wasn't sure. It was super tight. Now, the other cool thing is it lasts for a full 24 hours. So if you're traveling for the weekend, everybody knows hotel sex is the best, right? So apply it shortly before you start having fun the first night, and then the next night is still going to be good, all right? Like a virgin. Now, don't worry if he happens to somehow get his mouth involved after you've applied it. It's not going to shrink up his mouth or anything like that, so don't worry. Yeah, and it's not toxic, so in fact, they won't even taste it. All right, that is Like a Virgin. So that's for somebody who's like, I just want to be a little extra. I don't need all the Kegel stuff because everything's good down there. All right, next, Just Like Me lubricant. I mentioned earlier how much lubrication can enhance the pleasure, and especially hand play, oral sex. We've got some of the best flavored. We're going to talk more about flavored lubrications, but let me just say, if oral sex happens every now and then or frequently, I don't care. Either way, our flavored lubricants are delicious and they taste way better than penis. So penis flavor isn't like the ever one of Baskin Robbins flavors options, right? All right, Just Like Me does come in a couple flavors, and it also comes in original, which is unflavored. So it depends entirely if you want maybe some oral play or just fun. So Just Like Me feels very natural. It is water-based. It's sugar-free, which none of our lubes have sugar. Yeah, feels super incredibly natural. And guess what? When you're done, it just absorbs and it feels like you're moisturized. You're not going to have to get up and go take a shower. It's not going to be icky and, wake you up in the middle of the night because it's gross. All right, next, Pure Pleasure. So if you like more slippery, longer lasting, silicone type lubricant, this is your lubricant. Now this one is silicone based, but it doesn't act like most silicone lubricants where it's not going to leave an oil stain. It actually acts more like a water soluble where it doesn't, have to be washed out with soap and water. It just kind of absorbs. But it's also safe with silicone toys. There's many silicone lubes that you're not supposed to use with silicone toys. This one is safe. It's called Pure Pleasure. It's great for super tight spaces, for long-lasting slipperiness. Yeah, I should say super tight spaces, or if your partner is very well endowed, long-lasting slipperiness, and underwater sex. So good. Pure Pleasure, that is not flavored. Then we have, last but not least, our Healy CBD water-based lubricant. This one has CBD in it, so this is perfect for women who have any pain during or after intercourse. This will help to reduce inflammation, reduce pain, and what I love most about it is pH balancing. Some of you are like, wow, that's amazing. Some of you are like, I don't really know what that means. Women have good yeast, good bacteria. They keep each other balanced. If you throw one off, i.e., if you get on antibiotics, you might get a yeast infection, because if you throw one off, the other one can flourish. You need them to keep each other even. This balances that out. So if you feel like you're just starting a yeast infection, or if you feel like you're just starting a bacterial infection, seriously, insert this into the vagina, either on a penis, your fingers, a toy, and it will help to balance out that pH. Now, I'm not saying if you have a raging yeast infection, this is going to fix it. You're still going to want to see a doctor for that. But if you feel like you're just a little off, or if you're one of those unfortunate women, I've got a good friend who every time she has sex with her partner, she gets one or the other, bacterial or yeast, and it's just somehow their fluids just don't mix very well. So she has learned that when she uses this during intercourse, she doesn't have to see a doctor afterwards. So I'm telling you, it's amazing. CBD water-based lubrication. It's under the Healy category. All right, that's all I have for you tonight. I will see you all tomorrow night. Bye-bye.